Thank you. Welcome to you all to the second day of this year's symposium. It is indeed an honor to be here and to help kick off this session. Many thanks to George Mason University and to the Center for Evidence-Based Crime Policy and to the Scottish Institute for Policing Research, too, for co-sponsoring this session. Moving Beyond Arrest is a short title given this set of presentations. For the next couple hours you're going to hear about. I want to begin by making a couple of obvious observations. First, it is long past the point of debating whether the primary job of the police is merely arrest. And certainly folks gathered for a symposium like this will recognize that we have moved, indeed, a long way from that focus, from that single focus. The second point is that there is increasing recognition that public safety is a public good that the police help produce in partnership, in collaboration with others, with the community in general, and increasingly with the specific members of that community, including young people. The third obvious point, I think, and perhaps most obvious to this group, is the increasing willingness among criminal justice practitioners and police in particular to engage in the empirical work, the empirical testing that challenges long-standing assumptions about what works and what doesn't. It's this commitment to testing and challenging taken for granted approaches that has been the basis of NIJ's contribution to the field, making, I think, over the last 20 years, well over $100 million of investments on the behalf of taxpayers, specifically to research related to policing. NIJ continues this strong commitment to this kind of collaboration in a number of solicitations and funding opportunities for this year, focusing on policing and police practitioner partnerships. And I encourage you to take a look at that. Well, that said, what remains to be done? It seems like we have sort of claimed the prize in some fundamental way already. The presenters on this panel, I think, will provide powerful testimony to the way in which researchers working with law enforcement agencies continue to refine and improve the way that law enforcement serves the communities and improves their work, particularly their work with young people, and improve the way in which the police and young citizens interact. I think you're in for a real treat, a veritable potpourri, a very powerful set of presentations on tap today. And yet, I have to say, without having heard their presentations, there are a couple of assertions I'm willing to make. I am willing to bet that no one's presentation has a coefficient of cause and effect anywhere near 1.0, right? No one has solved this problem. There are correlations of association between what they do and the outcomes that they desire are far from being perfect. The tested interventions that they're going to tell you about, sadly, did not work every time. And that probably comes as no surprise to any of us. That raises the question of what we're willing to accept in terms of our practices and in terms of what we want to define as success. I was reminded of some work by William Edward Deming, W.E. Deming, the famed industrialist and the person to whom we attribute a lot of quality improvement work and statistical quality control, and particularly in the automotive industry and in some other industries. And he's quoted as saying that a 90% success rate sounds pretty good. A 99% success rate sounds pretty good. Even a 99.9% success rate, you begin to think, wow, we've arrived, we've achieved what we aimed at. And yet Deming points out that even with a 99.9% success rate, and recognizing that what that means, what success means, and how failure is defined. 99.9% success still means that 2 planes landing at O'Hare every day land in an unsafe manner. 2 every day. 99.9% success means that 16,000 pieces of mail get misrouted every day. It means that 32,000 checks or fund transfers in the United States are misrouted or end up in the wrong bank or the wrong account. 32,000 every hour, right? 99.9% sounds pretty good, right? Well, what does this mean for our world? What would 99.9% look like for us? Admitting that we may not even be close to that yet. It would mean that roughly 40,000 police-citizen interactions every year go badly. There are about 40 million police-citizen interactions every year. 1 out of 1,000 of those, right? It means that 1,000 felony convictions every year are fraught with some kind of error, right? We're not successfully completed. It means that 1,800 out of 1.8 million juvenile arrests are somehow fraught with error, somehow fell short of being right, however we might define that. This brings us to what our intent is here today, research and the goal of improving research, or improving practice through research. A word to policymakers, recognizing that we don't always have the answers, we don't always have the proven practice for the policy decision that we have to make before us today. At least we want to be open to the possibility that the practices and the policies that we implement might not be exactly right. And we renew our commitment, or we should renew our commitment to assessing those policies and practices even as we implement them, even as we make those decisions, so that the next time around we're a little closer to 99.9%, and the vacuum and the lack of evidence that we might be facing today might be a little smaller for the next decision maker the next time around. With those thoughts, I ask you to join me in welcoming the very first presenter on the panel, Dr. Dennis Rosenbaum.